Welcome, thank you. This is Prescott School District Board of Education regular meeting. I'll call the meeting to order, subject section 1983 of the Wisconsin statutes. Our first item here is to adopt the agenda. Rick, is there any changes?
Yes, it was already previously noted, but we are moving one item out of consent into business, and it has to do with the value of the donation to the Prescott Public Schools. So we'll be moving Afton Apple out of consent into business. Otherwise, there are no changes.
Okay. I think it's already, oh no, okay. So item C in consent is Afton Apple donation, and that's getting moved.
Correct.
Okay. That actually is as item C on the sheet here, okay. All right, any other change, if that's the only change? Okay, we'll take a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda with the modifications noted.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Pat, lead us.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Pat.
Next item is the recognition of visitors, and just for review of the rules for public comment, please approach the podium one at a time, stating your name, municipality, and topic you would like to address. A lot of time is 3 minutes per individual, or 6 if you are representing a group. All comments should be directed to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board will not act on any comments that are made during the meeting. The presiding officer may direct the district administrator to follow up with that individual at a later date. And finally, the public comment section will be limited to 30 minutes unless board action is taken to extend. And as always, please refer to our public comment policy listed on the agenda for a full description. Anybody at this time care to be recognized, please approach the podium.
Hi, I'm Julie Ryan, a lifelong Prescott resident. I just wanted to say thank you to the entire Prescott School District. My son had a life-altering surgery yesterday, and the entire district, every school teacher, everyone, especially in this building, has allowed him to be himself, and I'm forever grateful. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else care to be recognized? All right, we're going to move on. Next item is good news. We're starting with Mackenzie.
Correct.
Okay. Mostly like sports and whatnot, but I know forensics and basketball are both doing really well in their seasons. For wrestling, Nolan Tomlin just went off to state. Congrats to him. Dance team won state for jazz, and we are POM runner-ups. It's pretty good. The varsity a cappella choir, St. Croix Sound, attended the ICHSA competition as quarterfinalists. It's exciting. The middle school choir concert was 2 days ago, but there's a band concert next Thursday, so check that out. High school choir concert is tomorrow night, and the band concert is next Monday. Well, this Monday, I suppose. And then last thing, probably talk about this at the next meeting too, but the high school musical, which is High School Musical, will be March 22nd to 24th, so make sure you get your tickets for that when those go out.
Thank you very much. And are you on a tight deadline tonight? Did that change, or are you going to stay?
I got a bug soon.
All right. And then we have a special guest with Michael Kozmowski and Sarah Dusick with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Dusick, the Malone Elementary principal, and also wearing the hat of summer school administrator now too. The booklet was shared with families today that has all of our course offerings in it. And registration for summer school will open on Monday at 10 a.m. and it will close the Friday before spring break. I think the date is like March 8th at 3 p.m. For summer school, so that we can start getting our planning in place for numbers and stuff for summer school as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now I'm just going to introduce one of our MPC members, a great supporter of our schools, and a representative from Afton Apples, Sarah Parkos.
Hi, I'm Sarah with Afton Apple Orchard. I'm here with my mom, Cindy, and my daughter, Mackenzie. Thank you for inviting us to the school board meeting tonight. This year kicks off our 35th year of being family-owned and operated. Looking back at what the farm was like back in 1989 really makes us appreciate how far we've come with hard work, dedication, creativity, and resiliency. Not every idea has been a home run, but we wouldn't have learned that if we hadn't tried. After all, our most challenging moments can offer us the greatest opportunities for growth. Each day we have a choice. We can decide if it's one day or day one. What started out as a rundown piece of land with overgrown trees, one raggedy tire swing, and outdated equipment has grown to become a place for annual family traditions to escape the hustle and bustle of daily life and make memories. Like many other things, farming has its ups and downs, and last year was no exception. We had a great crop of strawberries and had the biggest crowds we've seen during the summer. The driveways were full all the way back to the barn, and the cars were lining up on the road. Our crew did an amazing job keeping up with everything, whether it be carrying berries in the fields, whipping up strawberry shakes in the berry barn, or finding creative ways to park all these cars. In the middle of our busy strawberry season, we planted 11 acres of sunflowers and zinnias, anticipating an incredible display for our flower festival in the coming months. Unfortunately, it had been a very hot and dry summer, and Mother Nature decided that we need some rain and delivered 5 inches at a time in back-to-back storms. Needless to say, that freshly planted 11-acre field of delicate flower seeds was immediately washed out. With so much mud, there was no way we would recoup, and there was no time to replant to fit the flower festival window. This is a good time to remember the quote, "When it rains, look for rainbows, and when it's dark, look for stars." When we get knocked down at times by something out of our control, we have to find the best in every situation. We had no choice but to let our annual flower festival go and shift our focus onto upcoming raspberries and blackberries. Just as we started to adjust our fall schedule to skip our flower season, we got a notice from the University of Minnesota Extension Office. We had been chosen as the 2023 Farm Family of the Year in Washington County. The University of Minnesota Farm Family Recognition Program honors farm families from throughout Minnesota for their significant contributions to the agriculture industry and their local communities. It's an honor to be chosen and to be among resilient family farms that get recognized for the important work that they do, and especially celebrating farms of all sizes with different commodities, each with a unique background. We are so proud to be a part of the community and be able to do what we love to do. Thank you to our crew, customers, and community for growing alongside us and your continued support over the years. We humbly accepted the award and headed into our fall season. We had a dedicated crew lined up and a bountiful harvest ready to go. We started organizing school field trips, setting up the corn maze, creating our kitchen menu, and finalizing plans for our annual apple festivals. It seemed like something was missing, but we couldn't quite figure out what that might be. Well, one of our dreams finally came true. We are approached by Oscar Mayer asking to have their iconic Wienermobile visit our orchard. That was an easy yes. Out of all the places they could visit in the area, they chose us. There's just something so cool about a giant hot dog strolling down the driveway and parking in our courtyard of our apple orchard. Is that how we know we've made it? We're not quite sure how one measures success or making it in this world, but an iconic 27-foot hot dog on wheels visiting us was pretty cool, and we relished that opportunity. We finished off the fall season with a great crew and dehydrated so many apple chips to get us ready for the winter season. This time of year, we are planting crops, attending workshops, and catching up on all the winter projects that have been pushed to the back burner when we were in the midst of harvest. As we recognize the importance of supporting local, we actively conduct as much business as we can locally. We support local by having meals for our crew catered twice every weekend from just down the road. We buy most of our implements from local dealers and wave to them on the road. We design print materials working with our local graphic design shops. We networked with the Prescott School District to provide fresh apples for the nutrition department all the way through winter break. We are fortunate to have so many loyal customers stop out year after year. The Prescott community has been a great part of our journey. They have been a part of our story since the beginning when we only had one ratty tire swing. They've supported us through less than perfect crops, building additions, growing pains, and more. They've been our biggest cheerleaders through some of the toughest times, and we are forever grateful. One of my favorite signs is the thank you sign when leaving the farm. It says, "You had a choice, and you chose us." We never take it for granted that these customers come to our farm by choice. Great communities are built by people with a variety of backgrounds. Some people are given numerous opportunities with perfectly laid out paths, while others are silently struggling to get by. We've supported the Hastings Food Shelf and the Prescott Food Pantry to offer families fresh produce and donated funds to support purchasing more essentials. We also support many local nonprofit programs and endeavors whenever possible. We were so involved with keeping day-to-day operations going that we didn't organize any fundraiser for Prescott schools like we've done for the past 6 years. Investing in future generations is a lot like farming. Some investments are seen right away, while some investments take extra time and care until you finally see these results. A great quote comes from Robert Louis Stevenson. "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." Investing in our youth is the best opportunity for a great future. We're excited to be offering 2 scholarships again this year to graduating seniors this spring. We got feedback from schools with wish list items that may not be afforded in the school budget. The Prescott Intermediate School would like to transform their classrooms into building thinking classrooms with new professional development tools like books for the staff and whiteboards for all the 4th and 5th grade core and SPED classrooms. That transformation would cost about $6,000. Last year, they also started a program called One School, One Book. It's a school-wide reading program where all the students and staff read the same book. They have activities throughout the month and finish the program with an author visit to engage with the students. I still remember the impact from when I was in elementary school when we got to meet an author. It was so memorable being a young student learning about the process to write and publish a book. To implement the One School, One Book program again this year at Prescott Intermediate would cost $4,500. We also got feedback from the elementary and intermediate core teachers with a few items they'd like for their classrooms. Those items include a paper cutter for art, a sale for outdoor classroom coverage for STEM, 6 glockenspiels, and 2 sets of drums for music class. The specialist wish list items would cost about $1,170. In recent years of doing donations, we have focused only on Malone Elementary, supporting the upgrade of deteriorating playground equipment. This year, we would like to support the Prescott Intermediate School and specialist classrooms tools. With so many great ideas, it was hard to pick just one. Tonight, we'd like to donate $11,170. Through the past 7 years of fundraising efforts for Prescott schools alone, we have been able to donate over $60,000 to supporting the students of Prescott. We encourage you to go ahead and take the road less traveled and enjoy the adventure. Be kind, offer a helping hand, get involved in the community. Don't forget about the small impact a small gesture may have or the large impact. In the words of Dr. Seuss, to the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world. Thank you to the Prescott community for your unwavering support these past 35 years. We are so grateful to be the farm where memories are made.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Andrea, do you mind, could you get a picture of Sarah? Mackenzie, you can get in there too. All right. Michael, can you quickly make a statement about the grant that was received as well, the Anne Marie grant?
Yeah, so with Faith Seward, our music director, we also received a Anne Marie grant for our elementary buildings. One of the things we've noticed being between two buildings is the transport of large drums in a Ford Fiesta does not work very well. So the Anne Marie grant, we used to receive these on a regular basis. They've moved more to a 2 or 3 year rolling process here. So we were able to receive just under $2,000 from the Anne Marie Foundation to support our K-5 music program as well.
Stellar.
great.
Thank you. And Andrew Caudill, if you could bring Samantha and representatives from the dance team. And note that Mackenzie is no longer sitting.
As we've been doing this year, as seasons end, inviting them to come in, give a season recap. So dance season ended, and it couldn't have ended much better than it did with a 30th state title. Of course, the girls probably say they got second place in the other one, but tremendous accomplishment. So I'm going to introduce head coach Sam Marks and her student helpers.
Hello, my name is Samantha Marks. Some of you might know me as Samantha Schoen, my maiden name, but I went to Prescott. I've been a part of the dance program for the last 11 years. I also coach with Brianna Shirley and Emma Carlson. They're not with us tonight. I feel very fortunate to coach with them. They are the ones with the college and professional experience, and I have just been here since I've been 19. Well, also all throughout my years of high school. But I'm also here. I have Captain Mackenzie Hegland, Junior Captain Claire Schumer, and then Braylon Fleming is our other captain, and senior who was unable to be here with us tonight. But we had a good year. It was really fun. We always start out our competition season at Menominee for the Menominee Holiday Classic. That's where we see a lot of our side of the state. And then the following weekend, we always go over, I guess the last couple years have gone over to Little Chute, where we see more teams that we will see later on at the regional and state level. We ask for your guys' approval every year of that, so we are very grateful to experience that before we have to see them for those regional and state weeks that are consecutive, and we have less time to make adjustments if we need to. So we were successful at Menominee. We got 2 first places. Little Chute weekend, we got a first and a second, which we were very happy with as well, seeing our big competitors that we then later see at the regional and state levels. We were 28-time Middle Border Conference champs this year, which was super fun. Then regionals, we were first and second, and then at state we were first and second as well. So I really believe that our success this year had a lot to do with our captains and the attitudes that they brought to the rest of the team. It was a positive environment every year, very drama-free, super great. I just feel really grateful to be a part of it. So I'm going to invite them to say anything if they would like to.
That's just something really short, quick. But as Coach Sam was kind of saying, we were undefeated in jazz this year, which is a really important accomplishment to me as a captain, especially as a senior going out. Especially because last year we didn't have that opportunity, so it was really nice to get that back in this year. But we had lots of fun this year, and we had a really strong team bond. It was a really encouraging environment. We all trained really hard every day in practice to become super close friends. And we are really proud to represent the Prescott and the community and 30-year state titles.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, what I was going to say was basically what Mackenzie just said. I think that our team bond this year and like all the friendships we made really like showed on the floor, and that really affected the good results that we got this year, and it was very fun.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. I have 4 quick things. First, I just wanted to thank Sue Gertis and Elise from Baird for putting on the town hall that preceded this meeting. Again, that will be available on air on our recording for YouTube, just where you would find the regular board meetings. Also, Courtney Johnson and Andy Holland being able to work behind the scenes to make sure that we were able to live stream. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, coming out of the Performing Arts Center. So again, high quality staff to be able to put that together to meet a community need. I also wanted to acknowledge some of our staff that take on additional leadership abilities. Andrew Caudill, our activities director, was just appointed to the WIA Board of Control as an ad hoc. Wanted to thank him for taking a state role. In addition, earlier today we talked about it is Career and Tech Ed Month. We have an outstanding set of Career and Tech Ed teachers. Also, our students get to have an entrepreneurial opportunity and have been bringing back about $35,000 to $40,000 per year in their creative marketing and selling of products that they make. And then tomorrow is the Transportation Acknowledgement Day, February 22nd. And I just wanted to tip our hat to our transportation and bus drivers and Mr. Runquist, who's in the back trying sheepishly to go undetected. And then finally, earlier when we talked a little bit about public funding for public schools, one of the challenges is trying to make sure that the message from the local community gets to our representatives. I do host 37 different superintendents through leadership position in CISA 11. Last Friday, I moderated a conversation with 6 representatives and senators from Wisconsin. Senator Smith, who represents the Prescott Public Schools, was in attendance of those 6. And then, in addition, federal U.S. Representative Tom Tiffany was present. And so we do, as superintendents, even at the local level, try to make impressions and make some changes at the Madison level so that we can lessen the tax burden on our community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to school business. Our first item here is the consent agenda. In consent, we have the January 17th, 2024 regular board minutes, finance report. We have non-licensed personnel hires, resignations, and retirements. An 8th grade trip to New York and DC in 2025. And the acceptance of an anonymous gift to the Prescott School District of $1,635. First of all, is there anything that the board would like to pull out of this consent? All right, I will adopt the consent. Are there any objections? The consent agenda is adopted. Thank you. And do you? I noticed the names on the non-personnel, and we should, Sue and Tim, can we?
Yes, please.
Tim, I know you like to go unnoticed here, but the service that you've done for our district over the last, I don't know how many years you've been here, but
30.
It's
30 years.
It's a huge loss to the district, but congratulations on retiring. You are going to be impossible to fill. But on behalf of the district and everybody else, you are the best. And thank you so much for your And Sue Gertis, our finance director, you've been here for just a little bit shorter time than Tim, but have had an amazing impact on us. And I'm super sad that you're leaving, but I know it's for good reasons. And thank you so much for the service that you've provided us and getting us to a huge momentum point for us this April, pivotal point for us. And I know you put in a lot of effort to get us to this point. There's a lot of things that go on underneath the hood that go unnoticed even at our level. Let alone the community's level. So thank you so much for your help to get us to where we are. And again, shoes to fill. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we'll have to move on. So thank you so much, Sue, for everything that you've done.
Can I add one short story, Sue?
Yeah.
And then we can all clap. But one time, we were leaving a board meeting and we had really tasked Sue to just kind of rework a whole bunch of numbers. And I always feel kind of bad about that because she puts so much effort and energy into what she presents. And I happened to be walking out with you and I was like, apologize for all the extra work we just gave her and asked her to do. And it was going into the weekend and stuff. And Sue said, "It's okay, I love crunching numbers." And I just thought that was absolutely just the epitome of you working endlessly, tirelessly, just to really try to find the best results, the best solutions for our district, and we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right, we are now on licensed staff. So item B, consider hires, resignations, retirements, employee change of licensed staff.
Yes, we have 2 retirements and 1 resignation. Lori Pedretti, a Prescott High School science teacher, believe 35 years, is retiring, and Jay Barch, high school Phi Ed, is retiring, and Caitlin Benz is a 2nd grade teacher who is resigning.
Anybody on the board have any comments or?
I would. I don't think either one of them, Lori or Jay, are here, so I'll say something personally to them. But man, are they going to be missed? I know you had them. I had them too. So congratulations to both of them. If they do watch this, congratulations and thank you for all the time that you've put in.
Anyone else? Yeah, and just again, congratulations on a long career here in Prescott that has honestly shaped our district in many ways, and we sincerely appreciate all the great people that have been able to service us for that many years. You don't see that very often anymore, and it's just an amazing accomplishment. I'm very proud and happy for all of them, so thank you. We will take a motion to approve all licensed retirees and resignations.
I move to approve all licensed retirees and resignations.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. All right, item C, pulled from consent, Afton Apple donation to Malone and Intermediate.
Correct. And Sarah, you got to check my hearing, was it 11,170? Okay.
Wow.
Board, any comments or no questions probably, but anybody have any comments on this one?
Yeah, I can say, whenever I see this on the agenda, it just reminds me really of just really solid community partners and people that just continue to invest in our community and our schools. We talked a lot today about some of the cuts and some of the things that might happen, and it's community members and partners like Afton that really keep some of these experiences going that are so valuable to students and some of the things that our kids walk away really remembering. So we appreciate you. I also always love hearing kind of your speech and the things that you share and kind of your adventures of the year, and thanks for taking us with you on those. So thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a motion. Do you want to give us the right amount?
It's in there.
Okay.
It's in there.
It's not on the board though.
Oh, sorry.
This is on everybody's sheet. Oh, I see it, okay.
I move to approve Afton Apple donation to Malone and Intermediate Schools of $11,170.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries, probably the easiest vote we've ever had. All right, we'll move on to item D, approval of $46,000 to complete phases 3 and 4 of moving Prescott High School to be fully outfitted with LED lighting.
I'm going to ask Mike Koika, our facility and ground supervisor, to kind of give you an update. As you see that it is phases 3 and 4, we began this process. The reason it's coming before you is we are asking to spend Fund 46.
Yeah, we started this project to save some energy at the high school here. We updated the lighting controls. It's a 5-phase project we started out with. This is year 3, so we moved up. Last year we got really good prices, so we were able to do extras. This year again, it come up, so we're able to do 2 phases this year, 3 and 4. So this will complete putting LED lighting in this building, auditorium separate, at about 98% done and completed. So the $46,000, that's replacing the baluses and the LED lighting like we did on the other classrooms, gym, and hallways and commons areas, high use areas. So this project here is going to take care of our shop classrooms, weight room, wrestling room, locker rooms, and then into the kitchen, band and choir. So we're getting down to just a very small spaces left to get energy efficient lighting in with LED lighting. Another thing we didn't, and the price will be a little bit lower when we get done with the rebates. We'll probably see probably about $3,000 in rebates on this project. Another thing we didn't talk a lot about is deferred maintenance costs, because now these baluses, they're 7, 8 years old. Another 4 or 5 years, you're starting to replace a lot of bulbs and baluses. And each fixture is about a $50 deferred maintenance cost. So putting that in there, it's quite a bit of savings too by continuing this process. So.
All right, Pat, any questions on this one? I'm just gonna go down the line here.
Yeah, maybe the questions, Rick, if I'm reading this right, in the financial stuff, so Fund 46 balance right now?
Yeah, it's just shy of $890,000. We thought it'd be about $750 after we did the bus garage, but we're $150 above that. It also has earned interest of over $20,000, which would be half of what this is.
Sure.
That's why we're kind of highly recommending it. It fits into the Fund 46 10-year plan as well. I
would agree, and maybe not so much a question other than statement, but going back to the facility, and Vicki was a part of that with me, the facilities committee, a prioritization was MEP infrastructure, sustainable type work associated with that, and kind of getting us into today, right? So I feel like that's what Fund 46 is for. It fits the needs and the priorities identified by the facilities committee, and it makes sense to do it right now. So don't really have any questions.
Yeah, and if I could just insert, given that we had a town hall meeting earlier, by using Fund 46 dollars, which is set aside specifically as a trust to invest in facilities, it alleviates drawing down Fund 10, which is what is used to pay for our operating. So it takes the burden off the operating budget, and that was something fiscally the board did 6 years ago to set up that trust. And again, another use of fiscal responsibility.
Rick, remind me and maybe everybody else, the 800 is not fully liquid right now.
Correct.
Or has it?
Nope, some of it's invested in CDs that are laddered and they roll over.
Right.
Yep.
So, I got you.
Okay, Tanya?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the Fund 46, so I appreciate that you did that. And then just kind of thinking how we talked about revenues coming in at different buckets, that our funds also are kind of like buckets. And so Fund 46 is a bucket that we've used to put money towards long-term projects like this to help us with savings down the road and to be able to help balance our budget as well as think ahead of what these expenditures are. So that was only kind of my clarification with that. So, yep, great, thank you.
So can you just compare the timelines between replacing regular fluorescent balusters and light bulbs versus the LED? What's the difference in the life expectancy of those two?
It's quite a bit. It's all on usage. So if you had a ballast and a T8 fixture, and you went 12 or 15 years. Here we're looking at an LED fixture, we're looking a lot, almost double. So, but the biggest saving is the energy use.
Yep.
It's basically half.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I don't really think I have anything to add. I think they've asked all the questions.
Yep.
It sounds like it's a, we'll see this money in the long run, it's worth it.
Yeah, Mike, 146 is so important for this reason. Just the fact that with interest rates, inflation, so the interest rates are higher, we're making more money, the more money we have in that account, $20,000 in interest accrued so far this academic school year to cover half this project, just for being fiscally concerned, having a savings account. So we've been able to pay for the grade shift, which was almost $1 million project. We paid to get the new middle school, the St. Croix Street Middle School, up to 6, 7, and 8 grade standards, making that building more viable in the future if we were to pull in other grades to that building. We couldn't do that at the middle school, the Elm Street Middle School. So we were able to use Fund 46, almost $1 million to do that. We paved the bus garage, which was how much? Close to $400,000.
It was less than we thought.
Less than that, but it was quoted at something like that, but it came down.
Yeah, the budget numbers are way higher. I think we were under 300.
And now this is another big project that we're pulling in, and we still have an extremely healthy fund balance. It looks like it's about 890 right now, so it'll probably take out 46, so it's still going to be over 800,000 easily, and accruing interest as we go. So I mean, this is such an important account to have for us, so we can take these projects on and set us up for future. So Mike, thank you for taking care of this, and I think this one's an easy yes for me too. So we'll take a motion.
I move to approve phases 3 and 4 of lighting replacement at, still say PHS?
Sure does. Yep.
PHS to energy efficient LED using capital fund 46 to cover the estimated cost of $46,000.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. That's it for business. Thanks, Mike. On to information and discussion. Our first item is the update on the goal to execute defeasance of previous high interest bond.
Yes, I'm going to ask Elise and Sue to come forward. And I'll get a...
Okay, perfect. Defeasance is really a fancy way of saying paying ahead on your loans. So in order to do that, the district levies an additional dollar amount when you set it in the fall, and then you can apply those towards debt service, interest savings down the road. So in this case, the district had an additional $914,000 to apply, and those essentially go to an escrow agent who's then responsible for paying off the district's debt. So it comes off the district's books, it goes to the escrow agent, they pay it off on the call date, and there are interest savings for the local community. So in this case, the district taxpayers are estimated to save around almost $500,000. So tonight, I think the plan is to discuss with potential board action in March, and then an actual closing of the defeasance, I believe, will be in April.
And basically, we attempted to do this last year, and then there was the government shutdown, which eliminated the bonds called slugs that we're able to use. So that's the reason that we have a little bit more money, the $900,000, to put forward toward our high interest loans that we just took out, and it'll save $500,000 for our community. And Sue and I would highly recommend that you move forward with this step. And the sooner we do it, the better, so that there's no government shutdown that would interfere.
Ellen, do you get any questions?
No, I think saving the money, using that money like we're supposed to is a good idea. No, I don't have any questions.
Vicki?
Yeah, I had forgot. I thought we had thought about doing this last year, and I couldn't remember what the situation was. So, yeah, for sure. This is right time, right place.
Yep, nope, I remember talking about it last year and had lots of questions then, but basically we're saving interest and it's going to save taxpayers money and help our budget long-term.
And then it has earned interest since then, and that's part of the $914,000.
Great, yeah, great.
Yes, so to that note, actually, that's one of the reasons why we are paying that debt off, because if a district earns interest above what is charged on the bond, during a period of time, that account needs to be swept. So there's a 13-month period of time, so which is the other reason why this is pretty timely.
Yeah.
Great, Pat?
I mean, it makes sense. So the savings though, so where in the budget is that savings going to be recognized?
Yep, so it's going to stay, it has to stay in Fund 39. So
it has to stay in Fund 39.
Cannot go towards teachers and staffing. I wish it could, but it can only go towards savings on principal and interest in future.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any questions? This is an easy one to approve next month. So, all right. We'll move on. Thank you.
Okay, let you go.
Next one is update on current infrastructure referendum and summer 2024 planned work.
Yes. Last month, we talked about some additional projects. A lot of those projects were specific to the additional money that we had, because we chose at the time at the middle school at 1220 not to redo the plumbing and locker rooms with regards to showers due to the ongoing discussions for Vision 2035, where if and when a third gym or an extension of a gym or consolidation of buildings where we would need to revise those locker rooms, and mostly the kids at the middle school do not shower during PE. Secret that parents didn't want me to say publicly. Given that, and some of the cost savings on the bids that came in, we have about $500,000 heading into the summer. In order for us to be able to get these final bids out and into the timelines, we brought some of that information ahead. Pat pointed out, and Vicki as well, you sat on the Facility Advisory Committee. You did ask for a document to be sent to you. We provided that to all of you in summation. Anything that was not done that was presented to the Facility Advisory Committee, Mike and I were able to explain, either because it was an ADA issue that ultimately was not necessary for the current condition of the building, or was within regulations. Not doing the locker rooms and plumbing was a majority of that cost savings. And so Mike and I wanted to come back. We'd be happy to go through that document of the FAC if you want. Otherwise, we do have Market and Johnson and Mike to speak to the first large project, and that is something that's required, and that is redoing some of the brickwork at the middle school at 1220. And Pat, you were able to sit in on that conference call with the masonry, and so I just wanted to know if you wanted to go through the FAC document with any questions, or if you wanted to go right to the masonry.
I think that question was directed to you.
So Vicki, I don't know if you've had a chance to review. I have had a chance to review. I am comfortable saying that we've got Mike and Rick presented us with all the projects that were done, what weren't done, and why, and they all fit within the reasoning and prioritization that was established during the work of the Facilities Committee. So I don't feel the need to have to go through them, but would you agree that you were satisfied?
Yep, I looked over everything, and yep, they did mark as far as what was covered, when it was covered, and yeah, if it's to come. So yeah, it's very thorough. Everything I believe that they were concerned about has been taken care of or is on the table for us to look at. So
So thanks for providing that.
Yep. So Mike and Leo Draveling with Market & Johnson are here to talk to you all about, we did have an inspection of the brickwork. We did take samples cutting out brickwork at the low, middle, and high end of the building and across left to right, and they'll share with you. We sent you the findings of that and then the recommendations. As you know, as of last month, we were unclear whether or not we'd have to replace 100% of the brick on the side, the parking lot side by the football field, and that's why the samples were done. And I'll let Leo and Mike and Pat, who sat in on the conference call, take it away.
I guess I can start on that. The brick sampling, when we were here before, we were talking about, do we have to do the whole wall? Do we got to replace all the brick and whatever? And we kind of present it that way because one is, I was unsure the integrity of that wall. I had questions about itself because there had been some previous repairs of that wall prior to my time, so I wasn't 100% where it was. So Mark and Johnson come out, cut some inspection holes so we could look at it and see that we only have to deal with the 9 or 15 courses of brick that are there. We don't have to deal with the whole wall. So that's kind of where we're at today.
Right.
So now it's kind of like, what do we want to put back in that spot? So.
You received bids on 6 different options.
Yeah.
Leo, do you want to walk through those?
Yeah, I put together, first we started out with just brick and metal panels, and I put together 2 options for that, and then after the investigation, we thought maybe an EFIS would be a good solution too, maybe a little bit cheaper. So I did, what we did is, looking at it, we have basically the first 9 courses, which is 2 feet up from the bottom, which you kind of see there, and then you have all the way up to the bottom of the windowsill. 2 scenarios, just different heights basically. And so with that, I have the brick option, the metal panel, and the EFIS. And then of course, as you go to, up the wall with 15 courses, it all gets a little bit more expensive, not terribly, but just more square footage. The costs are going to increase, of course.
Me looking at that 6 options is something I think we'll look at.
And what you're seeing there actually is why it happened is there's a concrete beam, and then above it is the wall. And so it's actually coming away from that concrete beam because it wasn't anchored properly. And also the lintel underneath it was a little suspect that it maybe wasn't as heavy duty as it should have been. So all these prices include a new angle to support the brick that's there. We'll come and we'll put that underneath to support it, and then below that, it's really up to you what you want for a finished material. Different scenarios, we can do mock-ups.
Can you explain, because we talked about metal panels and brick last time, what is EFIS?
It's like a stucco material, an EFIS material. I don't know if you have the rendering packet, but it's kind of a cementatious material. It might actually look good there. It might blend in well. Trying to match the brick, we'll do our best, but it won't be a perfect match. You'll probably be able to see it. You'll see the difference.
Yep.
Metal panel will be totally different, right? It might be a cool accent. So, it's really up to you what you want to see on it.
So like with that stucco type material, what you would do is just, are you looking at kind of blending, getting as close as you can color-wise? Is it something you can customize?
Well, that's the neat
color?
thing is, yeah, you can color that.
Okay.
So that's one advantage of it is you can color it to what you'd like.
Okay.
And you can do a really probably nice accent, with that. So.
Yeah. Put a nice maroon stripper on the bottom of the school.
So I was able to pull up, we just looked at the prices, you all had received that. We also now have the images in front of you. And I think the biggest thing, Leo and Mike, is how high we go from the base to whether or not we go up 9 courses or to the bottom of the windowsill is one of the price points, and then obviously the material that you would pick. Last month when we talked about this, we were thinking that it was going to be a majority or 50% of the wall, and the aesthetics would be a higher priority with regards to what that looks like. Obviously, aesthetics still matter. The prices are pretty tight, so I think ultimately it comes down to whether or not you want to keep it all brick or consider some type of alternate.
So are we putting the metal panels on the mezzanine, underneath the mezzanine levels?
Yes.
Is that what
And
we're
there's
doing?
kind of a
So then
rendering.
That's what this picture kind of shows then, is that if we do like the 15, which goes to under the window, that really kind of lines right up nice with the mezzanine levels?
It does, and it lines up nice with the windowsill. One item here is those panels actually, they can only go vertical. They don't go horizontal, they'll go vertical.
Go vertical.
So.
And the image that you're showing up here, that's the 15-inch, this bottom one with the metal panel? And that can be kind of any color or black or?
That's just matching the color that we have right now. You know, that's the metal panel. And if you go down to the next slide, you can see basically the stucco. And if you look down in the lower right corner, that's what that stucco is. So you can see how that times out with the bottom of the window. You can do some detail like that, and it might blend well. I do think also, having that open, now that, we're reconstructing it, will allow any water, to weep out of it, so.
That's basically what caused this problem in the first place, was water probably getting in behind the brick?
Yes, so the bottom portion, yes.
Okay.
I think between the lintel being maybe a little too weak, and then the water from above getting into it, and then not being securely fastened to the precast is, I think, what caused it.
Mike, if you had a recommendation for us, what do you think?
Well, I guess one question I have for Leo is which one has the longest life expectancy? Of looking at the three products, looking at brick versus the metal panel versus going with the stucco texture. I know under the windows that already has kind of a stucco texture there, and it's an exterior finish on a building. It does need some maintenance down the road. It's not a high maintenance item, but it does need some maintenance, whether it be painting or respraying, that type of thing. Metal, I'm not sure on the life expectancy because I haven't really dealt much in the metal, and of course, I think brick is, what do they consider, 50 years?
Yeah, brick is 50 years, The metal can be 25 plus depending on the finish. And stucco, probably 15, but the thing is that you can repaint that. So, there's an advantage to that too.
Pat, do you have any thoughts?
Before I give my thoughts, did Chelsea ever make an architecturally recommended solution? Because I think that's pretty important.
She did not. We didn't get back together after the investigation, so she did not give a formal.
So they gave options, but I guess we don't need it. We can make our own decision. But I would have loved to have heard what do they recommend? I'm concerned. The metal panels at the plazas, we'll call them the plazas, are great. They're fine. Introducing stucco introduces another third finish, which architecturally I get worried about. That is, how busy does it start looking? Mike, you made a great point. Underneath the windows kind of has the same finish, but it's not going to look exact. It's going to look different, and I worry about how that looks. To keep the cost down, right, you go with a smaller band, but now we're not timing out with top of metal panels. And to me, not going up to that windowsill almost looks a little bit like an accident if we don't do it right.
And that ephes will be built out by like a 3-inch foam, so it'll be flat.
It'll time out with the surface, but when we return back to the building, it won't. I don't think it won't time out with the top of the metal panels at the plazas.
Probably not. Exactly.
Probably not, right? So architecturally, so we save money. Architecturally, it doesn't look that great. Just going through my mind. So is it worth You know,
20,000.
is it worth the $20,000? I would love to do brick. I would say brick is absolutely the answer. We know we're not going to get a brick that matches, right? So it's going to be a band anyway. So now we might as well, I guess in my opinion, save some dollars going with the EIFS or a stucco finish in the metal panel. That's kind of what I'm down to, Mike, just in my opinion, those two. When it comes to, I agree with what you guys said about you're going to get a 25-year finish warranty with your metal panel, stucco, you know. Both of them are going to get dented with the ball. You're going to have to do different repairs. They both got to be caulked from time to time. They got to be maintained. They're going to perform similarly, right? Yes. Leo, would you agree? So,
yeah. There will be some maintenance, yes.
So for me personally, it's a little bit about that architectural balance.
So just to clarify, would you be recommending whatever surface we put in, we go up to the sill?
The 15 course?
I don't know that I'm recommending it. In my mind, it would look nicer. Mm-hmm. It's the balance of the dollars now.
Yeah.
And so if and I don't know if Leo wants to stick his neck out, you know, but if our architect were to stick their neck out and say, hey, I think it would look just as good staying at the 9 courses versus the 15. I mean, that to me would carry some water, but I don't know that we have the opportunity.
I guess the only thing I could offer up is Chelsea might have, you know, some neat color patterns or some accent that you could use that band, you know, instead of just looking at something black like that. That might tie into it a little bit better, you know. Maybe something natural that might tie in a little bit better. And that's where I think maybe her recommendation or maybe doing a rendering or two with different colors might help.
When do we need a decision by? Is this something that we have to come, not like you want a recommendation now?
Probably.
Okay, then let's just go with what we're talking. Then do we want to go with like the 9 foot and
9 course?
the 9 course, not 9 foot, 9 course. I'm sorry. Yes.
I think
The 15 is all the way to the window, right?
Oh, the 15's all the way to the window.
So
Yeah.
between the two, it'd be the bottom.
Okay. So we're saying the bottom one.
And I think the metal, I like the metal, just because I don't like the idea of the brick not matching. And so when I think of like how it looks,
Yeah.
and it also has a 25-year life expectancy, which I think is still pretty good.
Mike, you're going to have to maintain the metal panels because we already got them on the building, right? So,
Yep, yeah, we're already putting it on the mezzanines on the north and south side, so
although it's probably super minimal, I guess you could, maybe there's a benefit to having one less exterior finished material that you got to maintain differently. It's probably pretty dang small, but.
Right. Yeah, I think all of them will work well. I think the metal, myself, I kind of prefer the going to the bottom of the sill and come straight across instead of the jog up under each window, and just eliminate having another seam or something. Just come across with the metal panel all the way around and wrap it around. You know, it's a little bit more money, but you're looking at. You're like something you're putting up there for 25, 30 years.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, and the blending that I think around, because it's not only the back, but it's also going to be around the front, so I think that's just going to look a lot.
Yeah, this is your front of your building.
Yeah.
You're looking at.
Yeah.
You're going to have it on the south side and the west side, which is your prominent side of the building that people pull in and see all the time. So.
Yeah.
So Mike, you're thinking 15 course metal panel.
Yes.
Me too.
I got a process question. If we were to approve 15 course metal panel, would there still be an opportunity for Chelsea to weigh in on if an EIFS or anything else would be recommended, and we would have the opportunity to save a couple
It's just
dollars?
We're not voting.
It's
I mean, we're just giving a recommendation here, so this is just discussion. We're recommending, we agree with it.
And
With that,
And to be clear, I did talk to Chelsea just late this afternoon. She wanted to make sure that we had everything. She basically said all three are viable. from her perspective, all have pluses and minuses, but the primary thing that we're all concerned about, because Mike and I wanted to make sure that at least I saw the channels on the metal because of how it'll wick water away. But with brick, you still have the weeps and the rope. I think for the most part, she said all three are viable options. It really came down to, I think, the functionality, the aesthetics that you want, and price.
I got one last question, looking ahead here. If we wanted to add on.
Oops, did you want that back?
Yep. The lower level there, it's always been an idea to add on for a section if we wanted to enroll in 4th and 5th grade. What happens with, does that change anything? I mean, would that factor in as a decision?
You have to tie in your existing wall that you're going to build down below and do something there. I guess you might speak to that better than I can construction-wise, but.
If you're just gonna build walls across the front of that, and you can remove that metal up,
Yeah.
you'll probably bring.
Probably easier than the brick even, right? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
You'll just tear it apart
all the way
anyway.
to the bottom windows and then.
So maybe that's even more of a reason to do metal there, because if we ever need to add on, which we're, kind of starting to consider, that would
The
make
metal would
sense.
be cheaper to remove
Yep.
to attach the existing wall if there was going to be a future renovation down there.
Okay. So let's just, no vote, but we're kind of, I think we're all on the same page, 15 quart metal. And then if Chelsea weighs in and says, no, you guys are way off, here's what we should do, then maybe that changes.
I agree.
Okay.
And as you know, right, anytime you tear in, although we did sample, right, that's why there's contingency dollars. And so there are $200,000 set for, as we do all the work this summer, for unexpected as we tear into old buildings. So we've made a good faith effort to kind of prepare. Mike, you feel pretty confident that based on at least that we've taken additional steps, there can always be surprises, but.
Yeah, that was my whole concern, was going into this and what decision we made to know we're making the right decision. And making those cutouts to know exactly what's behind that wall. That the tie-in bricks, that are turned and tie into the main wall weren't cracked, weren't damaged, and that was one of my concerns I had, so. And those are structurally, I think, very well, so.
On the contingency part, not to get, I don't want to get too far on the rabbit hole, but I think it's good to talk about the contingency when we, this is a change, right? This is a change to the existing contract. When we're going to add contingency, the contingency stays visible, right, to the district and shared non-usage, right, is shared back to the district, right? Even under change work? That's where we're at?
Everything we do is visible. Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
So then, Mike, do you and Leo, we have a good, strong direction from the discussion tonight? Okay. Then board, this is the slide from last month, right? And so we were talking about the first that's required, right? It's a safety issue. We needed to replace that brick. It initially estimates if it was 100% all brick, it was $720,000. Based on what we just discussed, we're going with 15 course and metal, it's about 130. And so that allows, right, we're going into the summer with about $500,000. We have some contingency. If the contingency is not used, it can only be used for capital. And so that would then allow us to take extra steps. We did meet as a group and we've been talking about prioritization. The varsity track at 1220 is in need of repair. We have identified kind of the surface. We had talked specifically about the different types of track, taking care of the surface for high and long jump, whether or not we were going to rebuild, and then the shot put and discus. Basically, we've scaled back the shot put and discus. Those are things that we can do internally. It's concrete work, and if there's additional money, we would be able to do that outside of, we could come back and do that at a later time. The track, however, is a 10-week project. We can't start it until the end of the track season, but it has to be done by August 1st when the football season begins. It cannot be used again for varsity sports. So, Leo, I think you kind of told me we're going to get an update. We put it out to bid, right?
Yes, yeah, so to comment on the varsity track and the office, the track, we got a construction bulletin about a week ago. I did put it out for public bid, invited several companies to bid on it. I am supposed to be receiving pricing on Monday, so within hopefully Monday, Tuesday, I'm able to turn that around and give an update on the low responsible bidder. And then same with the office. I'm receiving pricing on that. I should be able to turn that around relatively quickly.
And Leo, just on that, because that 300,000 included both the move of the nurse, adding plumbing and the office, and then deconstructing. And since then, after your last board meeting, Sarah Dusick, the nurse, and the special ed teachers all met, and they came back and worked with Market and Johnson and are recommending only removing the current office glass wall where the nurse's station is and leaving all of the walls and rooms the way they are. And it would be a better, more efficient use for classes, and that later kind of live in the space and then decide, which would then put it back into Vision 2035. It decreased, and we don't know exactly, but it would decrease. That 302 is no longer, it's a very high conservative number.
That is a very high conservative number, just because what I was given basically a sketch to price it off of. So the pricing that we have now will be, much tighter, I guess, best way to put it.
Yeah.
Good.
If those three things would, based on that 302 is obviously inflated because of now the scope of the project has changed. As administration and Mike Hoyk and I, both for efficiency and safety, we highly recommend this be the order. And then if additional monies are available, we talked about the middle school lockers. We showed you all the videos and photos of that. And it's currently used for PE, athletic, and PCR events. And then if there was still money left, we would go to the middle school wooden bleachers. All of these fall under the 2022 capital question. None of that money can be used in any other way other than capital. Just wanted to verify, because it takes construction bulletins and then setting timelines. Is there any reordering or feedback to Mike Hoyk and I about proceeding in this direction? Anyone?
No.
Can you clarify the office and the sped? So it would be the sped office, they would leave it how it is, but just take the glass, just make that a wall.
It would remove the glass that
So
current,
that's
yeah.
So, but then it would stay, all the how it is now would stay that way.
No, we would take out the office.
Assistant desks and stuff would be gone. So
Would be gutted.
Like an open classroom space.
Okay, and then the individual rooms would be for the special education. Okay. But none of those rooms are bathrooms, right?
Did you say bathroom?
Bathrooms, yeah.
There would be a bathroom where the nurses.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
In the old nurse's office, there's a bathroom.
There's a bathroom in that.
That would
Okay.
stay.
That would stay.
That's already.
So essentially you have like a smaller size classroom and you have 2 or 3 kind of office-y type pull-out spots that could be used for various programming with special ed and a bathroom. Yeah, that sounds great.
Actually, with the staff lounge, the staff workroom and lounge would become that space too. It's kind of like a ID space and an EBD space. And then with some breakout space.
Yeah.
The space for those.
Quiet rooms and stuff like that. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, quick question. The ID and the EBD space would be separated by a wall, right? It's not, okay.
And even like another little office area.
Okay.
You have to go through that little office.
Perfect.
To get into each other's.
Perfect, okay. Yeah.
That sounds smoother anyways.
Anything else, you guys?
Well, so because I think we talked about this under the lighting too, and going back to the facility committee, I want to be clear, Rick, you said it, this is not additional dollars. This is not fluff that was built in. These are not projects that didn't get done that were prioritized. This is, and we said this last month too, this is as a result of, and contractors don't get enough kudos, right? This is a result of great work done by our building partners, Martha Johnson, by our architects, by Rick, and by Mike, and contingencies and whatnot that haven't been used, favorable pricing that's coming back, that's allowing us to look at this stuff. These dollars cannot be used for anything else. They have to be used for building. I think this is important for me to just restate that.
Agreed.
Yeah, the other option is don't do them, but we're gonna have to do them down the road anyway, so why not take care of it now?
Well, and back to the facility committee, so what they hit is they hit safety, which was the #1 priority. They hit deferred maintenance items, and sustainability, which was the second, I believe, and third of the order of the facility committee. So I agree that these are probably prioritized right, and the right things to look at.
Yeah. Fantastic. This is great, you guys. I'm super excited about all this. Mike, your list is gonna be,
Oh, that original list I started with, yeah. We'll be down to half a page.
It never goes away.
Give it a chance.
all right, this is great.
That was a big list.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I think that moves us on to C, future community engagements.
Yeah, so we will continue to have meetings out in the community in small groups, but the next district shared event will be on March 24th. It's Sunday. It is prior to the last high school musical, which is High School Musical that you heard about earlier. That is at 2 o'clock. Our town hall meeting for anybody interested in learning more about the referendum is scheduled for 12:30 to 1:30 at the Prescott High School.
Rick, would that be pretty similar to the presentation tonight?
No, it'll be scaled back and more detailed, or more geared to frequently asked questions.
Okay.
And clarifications that we'll continue to ask people to provide feedback. We have a website landing page that will continue to update with frequently asked questions that we get, but that meeting will be specifically more around frequently asked questions and clarification. Thank you for that.
Is that it then for that one?
Then just under the future engagements, and obviously the election question for voting on the operating is April 2nd, 2024. And there are also 2 incumbents running that include Tanya Hollub and Pat Block.
Okay. That's it. All right, we'll move on to the pupil count update.
So within Wisconsin, we're mandated to take membership counts. They happen twice a year, the 3rd Friday in September and the 2nd Friday in January. The overall membership was 1,303 students. It is 10 fewer students than we had in the fall. Some of that is due to early graduations at the high school level. It does mean that we will have less revenue than Sue and I projected because we have 10 fewer students and will be prorated based on the instructional days that they were here. That is an annual document, and Courtney, we have to get that signed. Was that signed? All right, thank you.
Rick, is that 10 fewer since the count we did in September?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any questions, board? Move on if not. All right. Item E is the proposed handbook addendum regarding retirement notice.
Yes. I clicked in time. There we go. All right. Obviously, we have to have contingency plans. And as you know, February 1st, any licensed staff member that was going to retire, we just accepted 2 individuals earlier this evening. In order for them to be eligible for their benefits, they have to notify us on February 1st. Obviously, we are in a financial crunch. We currently are running a deficit budget, meaning that we are spending $900,000 more than we have in revenue. That is why you saw earlier tonight that by 2027, 2028, we will be out of money unless corrective action is taken. Part of it is based on reducing our budget by $650,000 heading into next year, and then asking the community to invest $1.2 million. What is at stake, obviously, is that there would be additional cuts. One of the things that staff reached out to me is that should the election not be successful on April 2nd, rather than being non-renewed, which is part of the statute in Wisconsin, they would like to retire. I think 2 things. It is a very selfless act to say that I would rather retire than have a younger, new to profession staff member lose his or her job. In addition, if we were to non-renew people in the month of April, that we would be required to do so. They potentially, the way the handbook is written, would lose their eligibility for post-retirement benefits. I don't believe that that is the intent of the handbook or the board. Part of that February 1st date is to line people up with WRS and pension. Second is to allow us to be able to recruit and hire people. It's very difficult to find high qualified staff, but in this case, we would be making reductions, not hiring. And so I did meet with some staff. I met with our administrative team. What we would like to do is have an emergency 1-year waiver that if we are unsuccessful on April 2nd, that we would provide a week for individuals who are eligible to retire to put forward a retirement rather than risk either being non-renewed or cut in order to sustain their benefits. I believe that is the right thing to do if we're in that scenario, and would highly support that. The way that it would read is that the school board would offer a 1-year district hardship waiver of the February 1st retirement deadline. The waiver would allow administration to accept any K-12 licensed staff retirement with no loss to eligible post-retirement benefits to that individual if this is made by April 8th, should the April 2nd, 2020 levy referendum fail. I know that we talked a little bit about different subject areas and things like that, but ultimately it came down to that it should be equally accepted, and I think it is in the best interest of the district, but also in the best interest of the staff members, should we be in that scenario. I did then reach out to our district council, obviously, and the only additions that they're recommending is that should that individual secure another employment elsewhere that does offer benefits, that they would accept those benefits, and if they then retire from that and still are be shy of 65, which is what our benefits go to, we would start paying for that. And then it's basically just failure to notify us would be grounds for the district to seek any remedies, as only lawyers would put in, but I think it's in your best interest, obviously, to protect that. So overall, we are asking for the board. This would be coming back in front of you next month. But basically, the condition is we would be adding to the handbook a 1-year district hardship to accept anybody's retirement based on the scenario of having to reduce further.
Vicki, you got any questions here?
No, I think this is fair. Our teachers have brought this forward as a concern, and we do have teachers that are willing to do this. So I think this as an option is, yeah, for this year, something we need to look at.
Yeah, I agree. I think we owe it to them. They put a lot of time and a lot of sweat and tears, so. And they're doing, the district a favor as well, and they want us to succeed, so I think we owe them.
Tanya.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with this, and I wanted to add to Vicky's statement that this was brought to us through our teachers, and I think it was through an open comment kind of portion of our meeting, which I love to be able to take that and do something with it. It was really good feedback. It was, again, just a really good community feel for our teachers to say, maybe we want to consider this if we got into a crunch to support some of our younger teachers, and I thought that was great. I also do think the added piece from the lawyer statement makes a lot of sense, because if you retire early to do this, and then you get hired a year or two later someplace else because you change your mind, it makes sense that you would take those benefits then. And benefits cost us quite a bit for people that retire early and then they don't have their other benefits start until 65. There is a gap where our district pays for those benefits.
Contributes
towards it. And so it does cost us a lot of money there, so that makes sense as an added.
I have nothing to add. It's the right thing to do. Like Tanya said, the budgetary stewardship of the Will Riley recommendations makes a lot of sense, and I think it's the right balance.
Yeah, I mean, Rick, I'm sure we'll probably archive this at some point and have it as a lever to pull if we ever are in another referendum situation, so we should just make sure that gets recorded somehow and used if we get in a situation where we need to do another operational referendum down the road, hopefully. Not in 6 years, but we'll see.
Right. So this will come back as a business item next month. I hope that our community, we would not have to enact this. And then second, to the staff members that worked with me, made adjustments and clarified, I think, made the condition statement read and it was a lot more straightforward based on their input than it started, and I appreciate that.
All right, we're going to move on. Last item on info and discussion is the superintendent review public statement by the board. That's read by me, so just a little background on this. We've been doing this process for about 4 years. We do a superintendent evaluation every year as a board, and we do the performance review. Usually it's towards the end of the fiscal year, not the school fiscal year, but just the year, and then we do the performance review, and then we craft a public statement based on the performance review, and that gets read into record. And it has been happening in February every year, so I guess we're staying on track there. And I'll start. I got to pull it up here and read it, and then Rick, I assume this will get this somewhere, but okay. So here we go. Bear with me, it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 minutes. So here we go. The Prescott School Board met with Dr. Spikuza on January 17th, 2024 for the purpose of delivering the school board's annual summative review of the superintendent's performance over the 2022-23 school year ending June 30th. I don't know if you have a copy of it, if you want to put it up there or not. But the following categories continue to be high-performing areas for Dr. Spikuza. Number 1, fiscal stewardship of district finances. And under that, we have four bullets. A, excellent oversight of the $15 million bond referendum being used for capital maintenance project. Project is on time and within budget. B, advocated and executed use of Fund 46 dollars to perform the grade shift between the Malone Intermediate and Middle School buildings, along with repaving the bus garage parking lot while managing to retain a healthy balance for future projects, as we saw tonight. C, advocated and executed pay increases for all staff in the midst of budget challenges due to the lack of state funding. And D, carried a strong fund balance at the end of the fiscal school year, which was healthy enough to sustain an unbalanced budget for the upcoming school year. 2, Instructional leadership. And with regard to student achievement, our state report card indicates that Prescott is in the top 10 percentile in the state for math and reading achievement, in the top 15 percentile in growth, and number 1 overall in comparison to other districts within the middle border and several neighboring districts. B, on instructional leadership, advocates and supports additional opportunities for career and tech ed courses, articulated credits, and advanced placement course offerings at the high school. And C, added a technology interventionist position to work with staff serving grades 6 through 12, providing support for Chromebooks, for the one-to-one Chromebook initiative in the middle school. And 3, under improvements, leadership in the public arena has consistently informed and educated the board and community on the public school funding crisis in the state of Wisconsin. B, has been a proactive voice and a leader among CISA 11 superintendents, serving as a chair among 37 other districts, lobbying directly with our state representatives for additional funding. The following growth areas from the previous evaluation, last year's evaluation, were discussed, in which progress has been made on each. 1 was execution of the capital maintenance project, which we talked about. 2, initiated a multi-year effort to develop a strategic building and grounds plan for the district, beginning with engagement from the students and staff. And 3, a continued focus on building and maintaining staff relations with both direct and indirect reports. The review also highlighted the following opportunities for Dr. Spacuzza to champion in the upcoming year. 1, lead a successful referendum campaign to help bring stability to the district's annual operating budget needs. 2, further definition and process for employee handbook changes. And 3, continue to drive Vision 2035 strategic planning initiative, communicating checkpoints and milestones to the school board. In summary, Dr. Spacuzza has consistently maintained a high level of excellence in several key areas over many years as our district leader. Financial stewardship of taxpayer dollars is once again near the top, in spite of school districts like Prescott across the state facing severe budget challenges due to the lack of investment into public schools at the state level. Through his leadership, his admin team performs at the highest of levels, each building showing measurable improvement across several key metrics with regards to academic achievement. He has also stepped into a leadership role among his superintendent peers with CISA 11, bringing visibility and reality into our district's own budget crisis to our state legislators, advocating for change. The Prescott School Board thanks Dr. Spacuzza and appreciates his dedication and relentlessness within his profession, a position that has seen a record number of vacancies over the last several years. We look forward to maintaining our strong partnership with him as we work together to make Prescott Schools a destination district for all stakeholders in our community. That is the public statement. Is there anything the board would like to add from the review process to now while we're open? Feel free.
No. Thanks, Mike, for putting that together.
Yes, thank you. We'll move on. Rick, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, thank you to the board, and I'd like to thank my admin team. There's no way that the superintendent can accomplish. It's not a leadership of one. It's not a committee of one. To our staff, to the district office, and to the admin team, thank you.
It's a team effort. We're going to move on. Recognition of visitors, same rules as before. Anybody in the audience cared to be recognized at this time? All right, we're going to move on, and item 9 is the board will consider a motion to convene in closed session under the following exemptions at the Prescott High School Room A117. Wisconsin Statute 1985 1G, conferring with legal counsel for governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, and there's 2 events under there. And B, Wisconsin Statute 1985 1C, dismissal considering promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. So we will need a motion to convene into closed session at a certain time here. It's almost, what do we have?
8:48.
So if you want to take, I don't know, 10 minutes or 5 minutes, 5 minutes, someone make a motion and then we'll second it and go.
I move to convene into closed session as under the following exemptions presented by Mike in Prescott High School, room A117 at 8:55 p.m.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. We will adjourn from closed session in room A117, and that'll be back in open session, and then we'll adjourn from there. No action will be taken from closed session. Thank you very much for sticking around. Have a great night.